Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for Dohn Mehg. This is the second leveling instance made available by patch 5.0 in Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. It may seem like an illusionette, but the more your interest in this dungeon begins to bloom, the more you may find yourself drowning in mechanics. Luckily, you won't find any trickery in this video. My name is Ms. Tech and I'll be your dungeon guide. In this first section, we enter the mini golf course of the fairies, fighting trash mobs and watching for AoEs. The first boss is Eric Thon, Lord of the Lingering Gaze. Candy Cane is a heavy-hitting tank buster. Cool down and heal through this as necessary. HYDROFALL will target the ground underneath random players with a circle AoE blast. Move away to avoid damage. When the boss casts Laughing Leap, he will either target the ground on the platform or mark up a player with the stack up marker. If a player is targeted, the group will have to stack up to avoid excess damage. Throughout the encounter, the boss will cast LANDSBLOOD. This will cause a number of puddles to spawn around the room. These puddles have two phases before they explode in a wide circle, knocking up players, dealing high damage, and debuffing them. The first phase is when the puddle first spawns. The water is calm. In its second phase, the water in the puddle will begin to bubble, indicating it's about to explode. Players will have to move away from these bubbling puddles to avoid getting hit by the incoming water spout explosion. There is a ton of AoE damage occurring during this time, so be careful not to get stuck in a loop of water spout explosions. All of these mechanics will repeat until the boss is down. In the next set of trash, you'll pull even more mobs with more AoE attacks. If you're doing big pulls, remember to pop cooldowns and save your healers a few hard attacks here and there. The second boss is Grial. SWINGE is a large frontal cone in the direction of a random player. Move out of this as necessary. Throughout the encounter, the boss will move into the center and cast FODDER. This will cause a number of painted saplings to spawn around the edge of the arena. You should also notice that there are a number of transferable tethers linking the saplings to the boss. At the same time, the boss will cast TIIMMBERRRR, which will deal group-wide AoE damage. If eaten, these saplings will cause the boss to grow and potentially deal more damage. To minimize how many saplings the boss eats, players can intercept these tethers themselves. There aren't enough players to intercept each one, so the boss will still grow a bit, just not as quickly as if you hadn't intercepted any. Coiling Ivy will target each player and trap them in a clump of roots. Players will have to destroy these roots before they can move again. An easy way to handle this is to stack in melee range of the boss, where you can easily AoE them down. These mechanics will all repeat until the boss is down. As you progress through this last section of the dungeon, don't touch anything suspicious. Tanks, be careful of the roaming kelpies and grab each ad as necessary. The last boss is Thorn, Lord of the Longsome Gate. Crippling Bow is a heavy-hitting tank buster on the primary target. Shield and heal through this as necessary. VIRTUOSIC CAPRICCIO is a group-wide AoE blast that will also place a bleed debuff on all players. Healers will need to be ready to ace soon of these debuffs off of each player while healing through the damage. Choir is a gaze attack that all players should turn away from. When he casts Toad Choir, the boss will turn towards a random player and blast out a large frontal cone. Anyone caught in this AoE will be turned into a frog. Since there's no visible telegraph for the attack itself, players should be careful to get behind him anytime he begins this cast. Eventually, the boss will leap to the edge of the platform and cast Ponambulus Fantasia. This will knock back all players and form a huge gap in the middle of the arena. The boss will then begin to cast Finale, and if this cast is allowed to finish, you will die. To handle this, players will need to carefully traverse the tightrope to get back to the boss and start attacking his lair before it's too late. Be sure to watch your step and only bring healers you trust to this dungeon or you will probably fall. If you do fall, you'll be returned to the far side of the platform where you will have to start again. Once the lair is destroyed, the boss will return to the middle and cast Changeling's Fantasia, which will turn him into this beautiful monstrosity. In this form, players will have to look out for these AoE circle ink splats. Move out from them in front of the boss during corrosive bile vomit, and move out of the way of the tentacles before they slap down on top of you. Eventually, the boss will return to his normal form and the same mechanics will repeat. Handle each in turn until the boss is down. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we'll look at the Dancing Plague Normal, where we face off against the Fairy King Titania. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.